Is this the beginning of the end for the Hunter Biden saga? Hunter Biden has finally been indicted on 3 felony gun charges. Today, President Biden gave his first remarks since his son's indictment.
As my mother would instruct me to say, please excuse my back. I apologize.
Wow, those are some strong Hillary vibes there. Now, this is very serious for the Biden administration. As you can see from this ABC News clip, they gave striking terms about what this means for him and his presidency.
Now, we have just learned, and we just got the paperwork, that Hunter Biden, the president's son, has been indicted for lying when buying a gun. I want to bring in NBC's Garrett Hake. Garrett, what can you tell us?
Well, Chris, this indictment just unsealed in Delaware charges Hunter Biden with 3 counts, all related to that gun purchase. It describes 2 counts of knowingly making a false or fictitious statement when purchasing a gun, basically accusing him of lying about being addicted to drugs at the time he was purchasing this weapon, pistol, in October of 2018. And the 3rd count is that he did knowingly possess that same firearm while being addicted to a controlled substance. So these are counts that were all thought to have been dealt with in that plea deal that fell apart a couple of months ago, kicking things back to the U.S. Attorney, now special counsel. Weiss handling this in Delaware, a former U.S. Attorney in the District of Delaware. Again, this indictment unsealed, dealing only with the gun and drug charges. I think it's reasonable to presume we have not heard the last of charges against the president's son, given the scope of what was originally in front of the U.S. Attorney and then kind of fallen apart, back to the drawing board to bring forward these counts now.
Now, these are the charges. 3 counts relating to false certifications in a gun purchase or possession that he was not an unlawful user of narcotics or controlled substances, as pointed out by the legal analyst Technofog. Mike Davis of the Article 3 Project accused the prosecutors of being yet part of another cover-up and had scathing commentary. Don't be fooled. Today's indictment of Hunter Biden for gun felonies is just more cover-up by Delaware U.S. Attorney David Weiss, who has protected the Bidens for years. Weiss, handpicked by both Democrat home state senators in Delaware, let the statute of limitations expire on serious tax charges, buried evidence deemed credible by the Pittsburgh U.S. Attorney of the Bidens' alleged foreign bribery schemes, and attempted to give Hunter a sweetheart deal with secret, broad immunity that protected President Biden. President Biden knows he cannot pardon Hunter right now. That would lead to politically and legally disastrous consequences before November 5th, 2024. If pardoned, Hunter can no longer plead the 5th Amendment and refuse to testify before Congress. Hunter's 5th Amendment protections also disappear if Weiss gives Hunter a plea agreement with a prosecution waiver or some other immunity deal that shields him from criminal charges. Weiss's charges today continue his deceptive pattern, 4 years of protecting Hunter. More troubling, Weiss is protecting President Biden. Indeed, where are Hunter's charges related to foreign corruption, acting as an unregistered foreign agent, tax evasion, wire fraud, and other criminal charges that could implicate President Biden? President Biden and Weiss will rescue Hunter after the 2024 election. Weiss will give Hunter another sweetheart deal. President Biden will pardon Hunter, and maybe even himself. Hunter will not spend a day in jail. Most troubling, there are credible allegations with corroborating evidence the President of the United States may be compromised by foreign bribes and other corruption. The Biden Justice Department will now point to Hunter's indictment, pretend there's an ongoing investigation and prosecution, and refuse to produce any records to or answer any questions from Congress, the press, or the public. The House may consider granting Hunter immunity now. The Biden Justice Department will never seriously prosecute Hunter anyway. The House should force Hunter to testify. Knowing whether the president is compromised is much more consequential than a no jail time felony conviction for a crackhead with a gun. If Hunter obstructs or lies, the Trump Justice Department will prosecute him after January 20th, 2025. Wow, you can't lay it out any better than that. If you take this with recent news that Joe Biden has now fallen behind former President Donald Trump in the polls, according to the Real Clear Politics average, and deep state-connected Washington Post columnist David Ignatius's recent call for Joe Biden to step down for the good of the party and the country, it's been a very bad day for the Biden regime. Now, I will add that Hunter Biden does theoretically face up to 25 years behind bars for these three charges. And the Hunter Biden defense team has already come out and said that these charges are not permissible under the agreement that was standing in court. But that all said and done, this definitely ratchets up the heat on the Biden administration and makes them look really bad ahead of next week's Attorney General Merrick Garland testimony before Congress.